Hello, welcome to another edition of Ed Talks. My name is Katie and I'm an educator here at the North Carolina Aquarium on Roanoke Island. And today I am talking to you about what makes a marine mammal a marine mammal. So a mammal is like us. Humans are mammals. We have certain characteristics, parts of our bodies, or things we do that make us a mammal. So a marine mammal is going to have these same characteristics, but they are going to live in a marine environment or the ocean. So here on my table I have some clues about those things that make us mammals and what make them a marine mammal. So let's go through these things and kind of figure out what marine mammals all have in common and why they're classified into that group. The first thing that mammals have in common is fur. Some mammals have fur over their entire body, like a sea lion or a seal, or maybe a family cat or dog. Some have it on parts of their bodies, like humans. We have hair on our head, maybe on our arms or legs. But even mammals who look like they don't have fur, like whales, still have some hair or fur on their body. Whales have special hair follicles on their body that are used for sensing the world around them. And even though they look a little bit different than something that has a full body of fur, it still counts. Another thing that all mammals have is a spine or a backbone. They are vertebrates. If you feel your back, you can feel your spine in there. It's what helps you stand up straight and you can walk with it. This is one vertebrae from a whale. Pretty big, right? And here is another spine from something tailed, maybe like a dolphin or a porpoise. And we can see that backbones come in all different sizes and they might have slightly different shapes, but all mammals have that backbone. Another thing that all mammals do, whether they are marine or if they're terrestrial, which means on land like us, is they have to breathe air. So if we go swimming and we want to put our faces in the water, we have to use something like a snorkel, which can help us get air from above the water. So whales, dolphins, seals, manatees, all these animals that spend most of their lives in the water, they have to come up and breathe air at regular intervals using their lungs. Another thing that mammals tend to have in common is they are warm-blooded or endothermic. That's a big fancy word saying inside your body you regulate your temperature. So if you feel your body, you are usually around one average temperature. Most humans, that tends to be 97, 98 degrees or so. In other mammals, it might be a different range, but they keep that temperature, so it keeps them healthy. To do that, because these animals might be in cold water, really warm water, they might be traveling in between both or diving from warm water down to cold water, they have a special adaptation that allows them to regulate their body temperature. They do this using their blood vessels. Humans do it too. So think about if you're really warm. My blood vessel can get bigger, or it's called vasodilation. So more blood can get through there, and blood is what's going to carry around that warmth to keep your body the right temperature. So if you're too warm, we let more blood move through your body, which lets more heat off through sweating and heat exchange into the environment. So if you're too hot, you can sweat, you can have vasodilation to let some heat off of your body. If you're too cold, think about what you do when you get too cold. You might want to huddle in on your own torso, you might shiver and shake, but our blood vessels can get smaller. This is called vasoconstriction. So they constrict and get smaller, and that makes them get closer to your core. So in your core are all the really important parts of your body that you have to survive. Your really important organs, your brain, your heart, your lungs. Those are the things that have to be protected the most. So if we have our smaller blood vessels, that keeps the warm blood closer to those really important parts. And so can whales and sea lions and other marine mammals, if they go into colder water, are able to do this to keep their own bodies regulated. And the last thing that we're going to talk about that makes marine mammals are their babies. So you might have guessed this if you were looking at this baby seal. The babies are born live in marine mammals. That means when they come out, there's no egg on the outside of the body. They are alive, and the mothers produce milk. So the babies are going to drink milk that's produced by the mother, and that also makes them marine mammals. So there are many animals that are considered marine mammals, and let's go through them and see if we can name them all, or maybe if there were a few you didn't think of. So most people know the whales and the dolphins, seals, sea lions, walruses, manatees, dugongs, and other sirens. But there are also sea otters and polar bears. While these animals don't live their entire life in the water, they spend so much of it in the water, and they rely on that marine environment for food, and that makes them marine mammals. Thanks again for joining me today for another edition of Ed Talks, and I hope I see you again real soon.